Welcome to Fantasy Bout Hour, the channel dedicated to bringing you fantasy matchups on a regular basis. If there's a fight you want me to cover, please leave it in the comment section, and I promise to honor your request. Hello once again, boxing fans, and welcome back to another prediction video. And I do thank you for tuning in once again. I would just ask the usual of you that you would share, like, hit the bell notification, and as I always say, if you're watching, you might as well subscribe. You're just pressing a button. So if you would please help me out. The fight I'm covering in this video comes by way of request, and please forgive me if I'm messing up your last name. This is coming from Joseph Spilero. And feel free to correct me, but I do thank you for this fight request. And the fight that he wanted me to cover, I am so surprised I haven't done this one. I even went back and looked at my old videos. I was sure that I did this fight, but apparently I didn't. But better late than never. And that is Lennox Lewis versus Tyson Fury. The battle of the big men. And one thing that both of these guys have in common is that they move very well and are very quick for big guys. They both have good footwork, hand speed, and the technique that they both use is leaning their body weight on their opponents to tire them out. And that's one of the most clever tactics I've ever seen. I love it. But as I'm thinking about this fight, Tyson Fury may have a few advantages over Lennox Lewis. For one, he's a little bigger than Lewis. I'm not sure about the reach. He moves a little better than Lennox Lewis. He's a little more fluid and loose when he throws his punches. And he's a switch hitter. So those things could definitely work in his favor. Now, in the case of Lewis, and when I talk to people about Lennox Lewis, I'm always emphasizing how underrated he was and how dangerous he was. Sometimes because of his demeanor and the way that he carries himself outside of the ring, people may be fooled by that and overlook how dangerous Lennox Lewis really was. And when you look back, most of his opponents were terrified of him, and for good reason. Now, we can get into debates about jabs, but as far as I'm concerned, Lennox Lewis has the best jab ever. And yes, even better than Larry Holmes. Just my opinion. But he was almost abusive with that jab. He could throw that jab at any range. He would double up on the jab, sometimes triple and quadruple it. And he threw the jab low. Sometimes he would aim for your chest, and sometimes he would shoot high with it. And Lennox was murder with those 1-2 combinations, whether it was a jab and a straight right or a fake left hook with a right cross. And he could throw every punch from the jab, of course, the straight right, left hooks, uppercuts. And that power jab just caused a lot of problems for his opponents. Now, in my opinion, the second Rahman fight was Lennox Lewis's best performance because we saw all of Lewis in that fight because he had something to prove. He wanted to get revenge and he wanted to get his belts back. He opened up a cut above Rahman's eye with a jab. And as I mentioned earlier, he blinded Rahman with a fake left hook. He came across with that right cross and just brutally knocked him out. And what I will say to Lewis's critics is it's pointless to bring up the first Rahman fight and the first Oliver McCall fight, in my opinion, because he avenged both of those losses and Lennox Lewis defeated every man he's ever faced. But we definitely can't sleep on Tyson Fury because he is so awkward. And he does have tremendous head movement. So the way I'm looking at this fight, it can go one or two ways. Either Lennox Lewis knocks Tyson Fury out, or Tyson Fury outworks and outboxes him. Now, I will say that neither guy is known to have a tough chin. But as I mentioned earlier, Lennox Lewis just has devastating power. And I'm not sure if Fury can take those shots over 12 rounds. But on the other hand, I could see Tyson Fury's awkward movement throwing Lennox Lewis off a bit. But if Lennox establishes his jab to control the pace and the distance, he could neutralize Tyson Fury's movements and keep him off balance. So for all of Tyson Fury's movement, speed, size, and awkwardness, I just see Lennox Lewis's jab being problematic. And Lennox was just an elite level fighter. And so I'm going to go with Lennox Lewis by knockout. Those are my thoughts. Please let me know what you think. I'll see you soon.